Hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. It's December. We're seeing lights and decorations all around us. Something is coming, and I think we all know what. Whether you love it or couldn't be bothered, whether it's a time of happiness or a time of difficulty and remembrance for you, it's coming. Christmas will soon be upon us, and we know exactly when it's going to happen. Then again, not everything about it is known. We may be lucky enough to receive gifts we hadn't expected. Maybe even gifts we did expect but don't know what they are. There might be times over the next few weeks that surprise us. Maybe meet an old friend unexpectedly or enjoy the company of new friends we haven't even met yet. You might have an advent calendar. That can be full of surprises as well. For many people now, an advent calendar means chocolate every day. Well, we tried to be a little bit different this year. My wife found me this advent calendar. It's a little bit different. Hot food. I love hot food. I love spicy sauces. I have no idea what's behind each door, but I do know it's going to be nice. This time of year, Advent is very special for Christians. The word Advent simply means the arrival of a notable person or thing. And at this time of year, Christians are remembering the arrival of Jesus as a baby in Bethlehem, just a little over 2,000 years ago. We can remember it because we believe it happened. But what if it hadn't happened yet? Imagine yourself over 2,000 years ago. Imagine that you lived in a place where stories had been told for thousands of years about a time that was coming, a time in the future, when someone would be born. And that someone would change the direction of the world in an amazing way. Someone who would be different to everyone else who has ever lived or ever would live. You know, for thousands of years, people had lived with stories like that. Those prophecies of the future. They hung on to them and hoped that they would make life better. The one piece of information that wasn't there in the prophecies was when. If it was you, would you recognise when those prophecies came true? You know, I don't know how well you know the Christmas story, but in fact, there are very few people who knew those stories but were actually ready when Jesus was born. Mary and Joseph, they had visits from angels, so they knew what was coming because they'd had this personal visitation. Shepherds, they had a visit from angels to tell them that it had happened. The only people in that story of Christmas who went to see Jesus were the wise men, and they didn't even come from the same nation. They travelled at least hundreds of miles to find him. And when they did do that, on the way they met the king in Israel, and that king ended up being scared for his own position and then looked for ways to try to eliminate what he saw as a threat. So how does this relate to us today? After all, we now know that Jesus was born, so there's no surprise for us as Christians in that. Well, I suppose the thing that I wanted to think about is this, that Jesus didn't just come once. Just before he left, he said he will come back one day. But just like that first time, no one will know when it will be or what it will look like. But that next time, it won't be something that anyone will be able to miss or ignore. Yet part of being a Christian is about being ready for that. Whether it happens in my lifetime or not doesn't matter to me, as long as I can always say I was ready for him. Maybe that's something you'd like to think about. Maybe even explore for yourself this Christmas. Have a think. If you'd like to talk more, do pop along and see us one Sunday afternoon or email me and ask. No question is too silly. I do hope any preparations you have to do for this Christmas go smoothly. Have a great week and I will see you next time. God bless.